if you want to add a wire nose bridge, it looks like this. It's just copper wire with the ends rounded off with pliers. So you would just simply get a spool of copper, cut the desired length, which again varies based on the size. And these pliers have a little wire cutting element on the end here. So I'm just going to use that to cut my wire. Then I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to round my ends. I turn it and then I crimp it into place, and I make sure that the little metal piece isn't going to be like pokey or whatever through the fabric. So there's that, and it's matching the first one that I made. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take what's called bias tape. I cut my own cotton fabric on the bias, which I'll just show you here. You know about measuring on the straight of grain. That's what the grain line's for when we go through that cutting process. And you measure to make sure that it's parallel to the selvage edge, right? This is the opposite. This is on a 45-degree angle. So I folded my fabric on a diagonal. Like if this was my fabric, I'm gonna fold this on the diagonal, right? Like this, and I'll pin it. And this right here is my 45-degree angle, right? This is what I can make my own bias tape out of. This one is measured, and we know that for sure. And you can check it with a protractor if you want, or these handy lines on your cutting mat will also confirm that it's the true bias, because it will line up here on this straight edge as well as this diagonal line on your cutting mat. That's what that's for. Once you've measured it on the true bias and you've pinned it into place, then you can rotate it and put your new line on one of these straight of grain lines, right? And I just cut 2 inches. You can see where I've cut out 2 inches already to create my own bias tape. And that 2 inches turns into the casing for my wire nose bridge. See, this one's folded over in half. So I usually do like 5 or 6 inches, roughly, depending on the size of the face mask. You kind of feel it out. But for the adult masks, I think 6 inches does it, and honestly, sometimes I trim it to be a little bit shorter. But I'll go ahead and cut out like a longer channel of bias tape, and then I'll cut it in like 5 or 6 inch increments, so I have several strips of bias tape ready to go. Once I have my 2 inch by 6 inch piece of fabric, that's when I fold it over, and then I sew it along the edges here, all the openings, with the nose wire inside. It's very simple. Basically, on the inside, I'll just fold this in half, pinch it so it has a little pinch crease. I'll just line it on the inside like so, and then I'll include it in my stitching on the inside again, not obviously on the outside, but the inside I will just include this in my stitching, the same 3/8 seam allowance that I normally use.
so